Hi guys, how is it going? So right now there's a lot happening in tech, new tools, smarter workflows, like faster ways to ship code. All of that is great. But I want to take us back for a moment. So recently I was about to apply for a job that required me to submit my portfolio website. And that's when I remembered that it has been almost 4 years since I last updated the portfolio. So I decided to refresh the content, improve the design, and then update the overall presentation before sending in my application. While doing that, I noticed something interesting. Like my portfolio was still hosted on GitHub Pages. Back then, 5-6 years ago, GitHub Pages was one of the easiest ways to deploy a personal portfolio. But today, most people use platforms like Vercel, Netlify. Trust me, they are excellent tools. But for something as simple as a static portfolio being developed with HTML, CSS, GitHub Pages is still far more than enough. In fact, many beginners don't even realize that you can deploy your portfolio directly from GitHub without using any additional hosting service. So, in this video, I will show you how to deploy your static website using GitHub Pages. Let's get into it. The first step is to ensure we have our local project set up. For me, I have my personal website with my index.html, the CSS file, and the JavaScript. To confirm that everything is working, let's open it with the live server. And as you can see, we have the header, we have the hero section, we have the about section, we have the skills with cool animations, and we have the featured project. So the second step after this is to head over to GitHub to create a new repository. And this is where we have to be very careful. It's very important that we ensure that the repository name follows the format of username.github.io. And in this case, Mufti Codes is my username. So we have to put that in. And when it comes to the configuration, the visibility, you have to ensure it's public so as to be able to deploy on GitHub Pages. If it's private, you will be required to upgrade to a pro plan or an organization plan before you'll be able to deploy. So let's create the repository. So that's done. The next thing is to now connect our local project to this repository. And GitHub has provided us with the instructions on how to do that. The first step is to initialize Git. So let's head over to our IDE, the terminal, and start a new terminal. So I'm going to paste that in to initialize Git. So I've done that. The second step is to add the changes. So I am going to add all the changes at once by doing git add dot. And then the next step is to commit the changes. So let me do initial commit. And after that, we have to change the branch. By default, GitHub assigns the default branch of master, but we have to change it to branch. It is to main, rather, it is recommended. And after that, we have to add the project to the origin. And once that is done, we can now push the changes to GitHub. Yeah, nice. So let's refresh to see that the changes have been pushed. So the code have been pushed to GitHub. So the next thing for us to do to be able to ensure that GitHub deploys is to confirm is to check the actions. So if you head over to actions, you will see an action called pages build and deployment running. So this is because with the way the format we followed for the repository name, this would ensure that GitHub triggers a build action, build and deployment action. So wait for this to finish running, because if you access the website, okay, it has finished running. So if I refresh, it has finished running. So while it was running initially, if you try to access the link like this, it should not be accessible. But now that it has finished running, you can see that our beautiful portfolio is now live in just few minutes. So there are other options on how you can configure this. If you head over to settings and then head over to pages, you can either deploy for branch or GitHub action, and this is best for when you are using libraries like React or frameworks like Next.js. GitHub actions is the recommended approach. So let's head over back to code, and we can also access our live portfolio. That's it, guys. See you in the next one.